So hi everyone, my name is Nikhil. I'm a second year food technology student at University Institute of New Technology, and I welcome to all of you to your podcast Food My Nature. So my dear friends, in this video I'll be talking about what are the junk foods and highly processed foods and their deleterious effects on human body. So let's get started. So the term junk food has been around since the early 1970s when the Center for Science in the Public Interest began using it to raise the awareness of the foods that are unhealthy. So until that time, the people there is a argument in the people what foods are junk foods and what foods are not junk foods. So basically there is a confusion in deciding whether this food is a junk food or not junk food. Junk food term is generally used to describe the foods which are generally high in fats, sugar, salts. Okay, so the foods which are high in sugar, fat, salt are called as junk foods. So there is for example, in case of pizza, some people call pizza as a junk food because it is high in calories, high in fat. Okay, but on the other side, some people think that it is a great source of grains, then vegetables, then dairy. Okay, so there is a difference of perspective. Like some people think that it is a junk food, but some people say that pizza contains all the vegetables, dairy, and grains also like bread. So according to that, there is a argument in between the people for describing the pizza as a junk food or not. Junk food tend to be more processed, and which means they usually contain artificial flavorings, sweeteners, additives, extra sugar, extra salt to increase the shelf life, as well as they are packed into boxes, cans, and also in plastic bags. Some common examples of junk foods are like sodas and snack items like hamburger, french fries, and are often lumped into the category of junk food because they often contain lots of calories but not many nutrients. So basically they are nutrient deficient. As most kids learn in the school that having a good balanced diet can increase their health, okay, and it can fulfill their body's needs. But although the junk food is so popular among the kids or the teenagers, so why is that so? The straight answer to this question is that the food that is junk food is more delicious than other foods. Because if you think about the potato chips, candy, and soda, the reason is usually obvious because they are very delicious. Foods with high amounts of sugar, fat, and salt simply taste good. So their intention to add extra salt, extra sugar is to increase the shelf life, as well as it increases the taste or enhances the taste of that food. And they are usually cheap and very pocket friendly to produce in large quantities. So when we outsource the food from the multi corporations, so what they do, they produce that food in large amounts on larger scales by increasing less expensive raw materials or cheap raw materials, which can also lead us into problematic conditions. And if you are a fan of junk food, so there is no need to be disappointed, because if you are having that junk food in moderate amount, then it is okay. So anything in limit is okay. And if you are eating a well balanced diet all over the week and you are having a chunk of junk food on the Saturday, so it is okay. And as well as you are maintaining a healthy weight, you shouldn't have any problem eating junk food occasionally in that case. Just remember, your body needs a fuel in the form of nutrients to perform their daily activities, daily processes in your body. And when you replace the nutrient rich food with fat or high sugar dense food, so it can lead to be problems in your body, because your body will not get that fuel which it requires to run the body properly. So if you're a regular consumer of junk food, then you must think of that. And at the same time, nutrition research continues to uncover ways in which highly processed foods are detrimental to human health, implicating them in host of chronic diseases ranging from diabetes to cancer. But what exactly are highly processed foods on the other side? So we are saying that the highly processed foods and the junk foods are of one category, but the main difference is that highly processed food, all foods, like Junk food is also highly processed food, but highly processed foods can also be produced in big companies, big corporations. But in case of junk food, it can also be prepared in big companies, but big organizations. But junk food that we also eat on the streets, so that food is also called as junk food. That main difference is here about the junk foods and highly processed foods. But what are the highly processed foods? We understand junk foods, but what are the highly processed foods? Highly processed foods are also called as ultra processed foods. Highly processed foods consist of primarily extracted or synthesized ingredients. Hallmarks of ultra processed foods include lack of fiber, high amounts of added sugar, and even the food is not sweet in taste. So you cannot say that, like, if the given food is not sweet, so it not contain any kind of sugar. It contains sugar, but taste is not there. And along with fats, salt and sugar, there is a long list of ingredients which present in that foods. So this is the idea about highly processed foods. There are some examples of highly processed foods which you can find in the supermarket very easily. That is are like white flour, white pasta, white bread, potato chips, sweetened juice products, pulps, soft drinks, sweetened breakfast cereals, reconstituted meats, candy, cookies and cakes. And there is also types, like there are 4 groups of highly processed food. The first is unprocessed or minimally processed foods such as fresh fruits, single ingredient canned fruits. The second group is processed culinary ingredients such as oil, sugar and salt, which have been extracted from the foods and are more commonly used in home kitchens. The third group is processed foods. These foods are derived directly from whole foods and typically contain a main ingredient plus 1 or 2 others, usually from group 2. Which is group 2? Like culinary ingredients. The group 3 processed food includes tofu, brine oil, olives, salted nuts and whole grain pastas. The fourth group is ultra processed group. Maximum processing is taken place here. These are industrial formulations made entirely or mostly from substances extracted from foods. They often contain no whole food. Instead, they are reconstituted from extracted substances and substances synthesized in labs. They typically contain 5 or more ingredients. So it can be very deleterious to your body. So what are the risks? Like I tell you about what are the highly processed foods or junk foods. So what are the health risks of highly processed foods or junk foods? Because both are same. Like we can call them same. So mounting scientific evidences suggest that highly processed foods are the key culprit behind some of the most common chronic diseases and health conditions in this world. The first is diabetes. As we all know, when we outsource the food from big companies or big corporations, so they tend to add a lot of sugar or high amount of sugar in that food. So what actually high amount of sugar do? It helps to increase the shelf life. For example, if we have a food, so they add extra sugar in that food because after adding that sugar in that food, the constituents of that food will going to react with that food, so leaving no space there. So there will be no space for microbial growth. So spoiling of food will not take place, and eventually it will increase the shelf life of that food. The diets which are ultra processed are linked with increase the rate of diabetes in your body. This could be partly because highly processed foods promote obesity, because finally obesity is going to increase the type 2 diabetes risk in your body. But research suggests that there is more to be the connection than obesity alone. So there can be more types of connections. And notably, sugar-laden processed foods like ice cream and Twinkies are also often loaded with saturated fats, which can contribute to the insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, as saturated fatty acids in the bloodstream can prevent insulin from working efficiently. The second disease can occur to your body is obesity. So as we talk about the constituents of the food, that is highly processed foods and junk foods are high in spices, high in salts, high in sugars, high in fats. So what they do, they increases, like they not increases but they increases the calorie intake. Your calorie intake increases, so that calorie or that excess energy is stored in your body in the form of fats or in the form of adipose tissues. So because of which your weight increases and you are caught in the vicious circle of obesity. And one of the most likely driving factors of obesity is the ultra processed foods, which make it easy to overeat. For example, that ultra processed food is very tasty and delicious. So what we do, we grab up the snack, sits in front of the television, and until the show continues, we tend to eat all that food continuously by sitting at only one place. So it increases the risk of obesity in our body. Added sugars and fats drive up the caloric content, as I have stated, and added salt and other flavor enhancers make the ultra processed foods highly palatable and hard to resist by that person. The next is cardiovascular disease can be occur in your body, because consumption of ultra processed foods is significantly associated with cardiovascular diseases. Like if you are having high junk foods, it will going to increase the saturated fat content in your body, which can easily build up the plaque in case of your arteries or veins, which can lead to cardiovascular diseases. Or in case of the sodium, which is present in high amounts in case of highly processed foods and junk foods. So eating too much salt causes the body to retain excess water. So excess water retains in your body to help to flush out the salt. The extra water increases the blood volume and blood pressure, which damages the lining of the arteries over time and is a major cause of stroke and heart attack. So stroke is a condition in which the arteries can break, the walls of arteries can break, and hemorrhage can take place in your body. The next disease is cancer. So the cancer can occur due to the ultra processed foods that is promoting the weight gain, and being overweight is known risk factor for at least 13 types of cancers. That is, weight gain is known for 13 types of cancer, causes of 13 types of cancer, and insulin may be mediating factor connecting obesity and cancer. The next is you can be prone to acne. So researchers have found that the apparent link between the diet and acne might be related to blood sugar, because refined carbohydrates such as white bread are stripped of fiber. They are digested more quickly, causing sudden increase in blood sugar, and this spike increases the level of insulin and insulin-like growth factor 1 in the body, triggering the production of androgen and sebum, that is oil, which can cause acne on your face or on your skin. And there is also one category in case of all these things, the frozen foods, the pre-made foods. And you will find the frozen foods in the aisles, in the store market in large quantities, because they are loaded with added sugar, sodium and fat. However, frozen foods are not inherently highly processed or unhealthy. Lightly processed frozen foods that have short ingredient list and moderate sodium content can be a good healthy choice. So it is up to you, like if you have to see the ingredient content or ingredients. If there are a lot of ingredients, then you should avoid it, and if it is having less ingredients, and then you can go for it. So these are the some major diseases which can caused by highly processed foods and junk foods. There is a long list of all the diseases, but these are the diseases which can fear you a lot. After knowing the diseases that can cause to your body, one of you might think to cut down the intake of highly processed foods or junk foods, then what you should do, because some people find it difficult to change their diet or change their habits. So one of the smartest ways to improve your health is to avoid all the processed foods and adopt a whole food or a plant-based diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains and legumes with some lightly processed ingredients such as whole grain pasta and tofu. And if you are not ready to commit a lifestyle transformation, simply opting for more whole plant foods in fewer ultra processed foods can make a real impact on your body. Start by simple, start slowly, and you can see a lot of changes in your body over the period of long time. So that's it for today's podcast, guys. If this podcast has added any values to life, then please like and share with your loved ones you care the most. Until next time, stay tuned, stay safe, stay healthy. See you soon. Next one. Bye bye.